All right, so I'm going to open the call to order the meeting of the Open Space Committee on June 6th at 6 o'clock. It's actually, I have 6:08, so that's what time the meeting will be called to order. We are being broadcast live and taped for rebroadcast, but no one else, I don't believe anyone else is being recorded. Okay. So we're going to just have a short meeting tonight. We are missing 2 members, but we're very happy to have quite the complement from the planning department here. So, Amanda, thank you for joining us. So anyways, discussion items. I know the last meeting you had told us that you had gotten back a response from the state on the open space plan. There were a couple things that were left that you had to address. And you had told me that you guys, you and Eric, were going to be working on those to try to get that back in. Now, I was just kind of wondering, did you have an opportunity to get that back in? Or anything more?
Not back in, but we did have an opportunity to work on it further.
Okay.
Eric can talk about the changes, the adjustment we made.
All right.
Yeah, most of the items that we had to address were regarding our inventory table.
Yes.
Which means that, you know, we're going through re-describing the parcels, and they had categories excellent through poor for condition, as well as they were looking for a description on, I guess, expanded recreation opportunities if they existed. So we're referencing the work that the committee did to detail those potential recreation options, and you know, it's basically just time consuming. So we are, we are working on it and plugging through it, and you know.
Limited time.
Yeah.
So we can get there.
Well, hopefully, you know, this time when it goes back in, it'll be done, and you'll get the final approval, and then we can hopefully move on.
It looks that way, since the original request had 13 items for us to correct, and it came back with 2. So it's pretty detailed what we need to do now. Once we tackle those 2 things, send it in, I don't think we should have an issue.
And she responded to you pretty quick.
She did.
Within a few days?
Yeah.
Because before, when the original thing was submitted, it was months before there was a response. So hopefully you'll get an answer right away like that then, and move on. And then you can share that with the master plan committee too.
Absolutely.
Now, do you know where the grants are? Have they gotten it? Has the town been approved for the housing portion of the community compact community grant?
A yes and no answer, so to speak. So we got the community compact that approved us for a housing plan.
Okay.
But upon further review with representatives from the state, they asked us to apply for what's called a planning assistance toward housing grant. They call it a PATH grant.
Okay, I've heard of that.
So they've put us in the right position to apply for that.
Okay.
And once that application's in, I don't think approval is going to be an issue, since we were technically awarded community compact for housing. So yes and no answer for that regard.
All right.
But I don't believe the application for PATH's been, I'd have to check with Julie, but I don't think we've sent it in yet.
I think you may need some data for that application that you can get. I'm sure you can get from the housing.
Okay.
You know, we have a board meeting tomorrow afternoon. I can let them know if you want. That you may be contacting them for some information.
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay. Are there any questions on the open space plan update, or where we're at with that, and grants and that? All right then, so that's great. I'm glad to see that. I'm sure you'll be glad to see it moved off your desk too. So then you can focus on the master plan.
The other 9 components of the master plan.
Right. But at least now you have some help with the other compact community for the economic development piece. Okay. All right, so the town-owned properties, we had talked a little bit at the last meeting about the neighborhood map, the quadrants that Matt and Eric were kind enough to put together for us. And I know John had wanted to, John who's not here tonight, had wanted to study this a little bit more before we talked about it anymore. I know we're going to start with the Packagug Hill area. We've talked about this before. I really you know, we talked about a long-term plan for what's left of the Packagug Meadows property and, you know, where we're going to be going with the South Old Road property. And I think we were trying to figure out different ways to link things together, link together properties that we have. Because there's quite a bit of town property in Packagug Meadows. And then, you know, might there be some other opportunities to acquire something to join things together. That was something else we talked about. And I know one of John's big things is the parking needs at the campus rec site. And to that end, you know, I don't really know where we want to go from here with this. I really think, you know, given the wetland situation up there and the fact that they've grown since the original delineations were done 7 or 8 years ago, I think to myself, if you're going to be looking for a long-term plan for this site, I think that it would be best to get all of the town property, have somebody evaluate it for its wetlands content, you know, so that you get it, so you know what you're looking at, because you know that the former Packagug Meadows site, the wetlands kind of are sprawled all over that site. And if they've gotten even bigger because of the development up there, I think that needs to be assessed, and of course the delineations were only valid for 3 years anyway.
With a 4-year extension.
Yes, exactly. And I'm not sure, I can't remember the dates now, but in any event,
They gotta be closed.
yeah. So you know, to me, I mean, I think if you're gonna look at a long-term plan for that entire area, you know, you have to assess the need for the parking, certainly, and how many parking spaces do you think you're gonna need? Probably based on some sort of assessment or build-out of, or what the plan is for build-out of South Old or additional properties up there. But to me, if the wetlands have gotten, I mean, you already designed the Pappas Recreation site, most of the fields and everything, they were designed around the wetlands that were already there. And in some cases, they back right up to the wetlands, you remember. And if they've gotten bigger, then I think it should be looked at before you commit to design. Because, you know, you might as well start with the beginnings and plan around it. You know, I mean, I remember when we first saw the wetland delineations, they were scattered all over. And we just couldn't figure out how on earth could you ever make it economically feasible to design it. Because there was such high, the groundwater is so close to the surface up there. And that's why we have to have those fancy underground, Mark.
All right, yes.
Hi, Mark.
Hello.
That's why we have to have those underground chambers for the drainage because of the high groundwater. So, let me get settled there. Did you think it was 6:30?
Was it 6?
It was 6 o'clock.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry, Doug.
That's all right.
I thought it said. I thought it said 6:30.
No, you all wanted 6 o'clock.
Okay, sorry.
So, so I really think that maybe since we have a conservation commission member here, if she wanted to bring that up in the committee, or maybe you want to go to the conservation commission and talk to them about that, and maybe the committee doesn't agree, I don't know. But we were talking about the Packagug Hill property and the town, South Old Road, and what's left of Packagug Meadows, and how the wetlands have grown on the Pappas Rec site from that design work. So I'm thinking, and I don't know if you guys agree, that it might make sense to have somebody do the wetland delineation for the rest of all that site. So that if we're thinking about things in the future, whether it's South Old Road or what's left on Packagug Meadows, you know what you're looking at.
A couple of thoughts.
Yep.
So number one, I know everyone's aware that we had the walking trail grant and a wetlands delineation survey
Right.
done in February on a portion of the property, namely the piece that connects both the South Hill Road and the main parcel. Having received that data back, we do know that there is significant wetlands right at the 12-foot crossing. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are reevaluating our approach to the trail.
Oh, really? Okay.
Not completely, but right now it's in the town engineer's possession to find a way to connect the segments for the trail to see if there's feasibility to connect the two parcels. Minimal impact if possible. We know there's no notice of intent filing in the horizon. It's just a matter of what we can propose and design given the conditions of the site. So in addition to that,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
all right, and that was the main area where the connection point is. The other area that I went out there with a rep from Ecotech was Paul McManus.
Oh,
Was able to go up behind that little parking lot that's all by itself off to the right, pulling
yeah,
the dumpsters at the end of it.
yeah.
Because we're considering that to be a possible trail entrance. And going in there and even checking some of the soils around the area where we hand glaze the trail, even farther in, gray soils almost instantly, it's just, it's surface water wetlands. So,
I did so that's-
yep. So we're seeing it in spots we weren't expecting to see. But you can
I'm not
almost
surprised.
include that entire area between the soccer field and that parking lot, which is diagonal to be unusable for the most part, unless you're replicating, mitigating severe.
You should have seen, I'm sure you probably don't remember, but you should have seen where Buckeye Church is. You should have seen what that looked like. What it looked like.
I remember.
Yeah, it's
Did you?
behind you.
It was a wet meadow.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Nice.
That's why they have those underground drainage that goes right through the middle of their lawn area. And you can hear water running all the time.
So it eventually drops off significantly before the utility easement. But anyway, if one of the things we were talking about, I'll get into this a little later, was thinking about spots in town for dog park. And one of the ideas came with that particular spot. Can we build anything off of this? And they came into the idea of it coming off of Cutting Ave at a dead end. And even if that was considered, those wetlands go right up to the edge of that dirt path at the end of Cutting Ave. So we do understand there would have to be further survey involved here, no matter what, if there was expansion of the use. So that's one portion of that. Assessment for the long-term plan, cutting property. I think until there is a proposal or a plan, we wouldn't want to necessarily ask for delineation, knowing that wetlands flags have an expiration date. Because we could get it surveyed and then not have a plan, not acting until the flags expire and have to do it again. So, right. So I could see going forward with an ANRAD, possibly pursuing that as a, well, beforehand, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but if we get approved for the open space plan, we may be able to pursue grants for such assessments. And I think that's worth exploring before we have a proposal on it. Those are my thoughts.
The whole area is a high water table anyways.
Yeah. You know, and I understand your point, you know, and I guess it's six of one, a half dozen of the other, because to me, how do you design it, you don't know what the boundaries are.
I think it's more along the lines qualifying a demand, a particular demand. If the master plan goes out and says we need X amount more soccer fields, and also we have that demand, this is what we want to go, let's do the assessment. But if the demand doesn't call for something particular that needs that area, I don't want to necessarily recommend an assessment, in my opinion, prior to knowing what the demand is. Or if there's grant funds available just to do the assessment, which fine. Certainly an area we know we're going to expand on if we can. It's just, A, if there's funding available through grants, and B, if we know we've qualified what the demand is specifically.
I'm just trying to write all that down. Well, again, like I said, that's my thought on it.
Is there any advancement on proposals for the walking trails, or this, we're just kind of waiting to see
Well,
what's available and grants and things?
I did save a couple of things for the end of our agenda.
Oh, all right.
That is one of
Okay,
them.
you have yourself, okay,
That's okay.
sorry.
I didn't want to add stuff to the agenda that's not on here, but I just wanted to give an update. If you want, I could do that now to answer your question.
That's fine, just something like, go ahead.
Okay.
Because I tried to communicate with you, but by the time I emailed you on Thursday, you must have been
Right.
off, because I didn't know if you had anything to add to the agenda.
Right. I think the email problem started that evening. So the walking trailer project is supposed to be completed by the end of this month.
Okay. Great.
As in, yeah.
Are you public hearing on this?
It's not happening. So
Right.
So I just sent today a request for an extension, to extend it for a year. Reason being, when we had it surveyed and found out the severity of the wetlands, we understood that we're gonna have to requalify this entire thing. We're gonna need more time to do that assessment, so.
So do you think that I mean, I haven't seen the wetlands delineation. Do you think the crossing where you wanted to put it, do you think the wetlands is so significant that you would exceed the 5,000 square foot threshold of building?
I don't think we're thinking fill. There might be ways to introduce this project as a hiking trail where you're not proposing any impact other than foot traffic. Now, there's certain ways you're supposed to handle that, which I'm not the most familiar with, and that doesn't involve like laying down crushed stone because that's not a natural habitat. So if there's ways to preserve it as best as possible, and even Paul McManus from Ecotuck said if you have like a 1 foot little crossing, you can put planks over it, they do that for
some kind of a
trails.
mat or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so those are examples, but it really depends on how our town engineer comes up with a plan for that. It'll be interesting to see what they do. But otherwise, there's a couple other spots that fit that example where there's just a 1 or 2 foot wide stream where you can put planks over it and make a little natural bridge, so to speak. But there's some areas where that dip is 15 feet wide. You have to build a drawbridge, I don't know. But, so there's a couple of odd geographic features down there that call for some attention and review. So we asked for the extension from the Blackstone Heritage Corridor today. Hope to extend it for until June 30th of next year, giving us the ability to finish our assessment, secure approvals from Concom, hopefully, and do the construction in the winter when the ground's soft. Any construction if necessary.
Do you anticipate any problem getting that extension?
I was asked by them to send this extension request in the way that I did.
Asked by them being the Blackstone guys?
Yes, I called them about maybe 2 months ago and told them this was coming.
Okay.
So
That was their advice to you?
So telling them maybe beginning of June, send the request. Progress hasn't become substantial, and it hasn't. So.
Well, that sounds like you'll get it then. And that way you should have plenty of time to do what you need to do between now and the end of the construction season.
Right.
You know, for winter.
And we put
Be ready.
We put a very technical and difficult design in front of Joanna. So I know she's put double-digit hours into it already, and she continues to work on it. So I don't envy that, but I'm sure she'll come up with a nice plan for us.
Joanna Pickman's working on it?
Yes.
Okay, well that's good to know. It'll be interesting to see what you come up with. You will have to file an answer with them for that.
But we already did an RDA, and it's got a positive determination.
Yep. Alright, and we're just skipping everything and going to the NOI.
Yeah, we tried. We tried.
I told you.
Well, we brought the commission down there to look at it.
I know.
We went through the right steps.
I know, but the regulations say that if you're working in the research
Oh, yeah.
area, you gotta file an NOI.
Absolutely.
Anyways, alright, so that's great, good to know. Any questions on that? No?
Yeah,
Yes, Mark.
is that gonna be all handicap accessible, the walking trail?
I don't know how it would be. Some of those parts aren't going to be possible at all. The grade changes are 70 feet at some points.
Wow.
Yeah, where you get close to the divergent channel anyways.
Yeah?
But it's possible there are some areas it could. I just wouldn't say the entire thing.
Well, it seems like Broadmeadow, they have like a rope system.
We're going to explore a lot of those different possibilities, including there's a chance for us to go to Broadmeadow Brook in a couple of weeks. I think it's the 18th. And I'll pass that information along to folks to look at their system. I think they have a little annual meeting in a couple of weeks.
It's a great system. You can also use cell phones too. You can pick up stuff.
Yeah, our site is geographically challenged. I think portions of it could be accessible, but in order to make the connection from like the soccer field to Southwell Road, I think an elevation alone is 70 feet down. period of time, we'd have to install stairs, or like full ramps, and
Yeah.
it would be pretty tough.
Very very
Yes.
costly.
Yeah, and we'd be impacting the wetlands severely, so
Oh.
it's,
Is that the reason why you didn't do the whole thing at Pappas, is a bunch of stairs? And that walking trail? There's one section, took
I'm not sure the question.
Pappas, if you take a left, on that trail, walking trail, there's a bunch of stairs.
Come from behind the
Yeah.
volleyball field.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to go up the stairs to get behind the softball field.
At the Pappas Rec site,
Pappas
they
website.
have a walking trail up there.
Well,
It's
it's a paved sidewalk around the other.
Around the
side-
soccer field.
Yeah,
Around the
that's
other
right.
side perimeter.
That's
And
your
it's,
walking
and then,
trail.
and then if instead of taking the left to follow through along
I see.
the field, you go straight ahead and there's some stairs that go up and come up.
That's right.
behind the soccer.
I know what you mean now. Yeah, just alone that entrance goes right down the back of the soccer field. That's 15 feet down.
Maybe that's a question for up there too.
Yeah, so we're trying to find a way with the entrance to be near the crossing, right next to the culvert, so there's so many things to explore. The different entrances are difficult, so I'm working on it.
Well, at least it won't be boring.
No, it's not. And I know Amanda's interested in that as well. And
Gives you an opportunity to exercise your creativity.
there will be a field trip scheduled in the future for us to go with that.
That's interesting. Do you have a wetland delineation that Ecotech gave you? Is it something that's online?
It's an AutoCAD. I went right over it.
it.
It's not had the file format. You need the software to open it. So Joanna has that in her possession. Once she creates a draft plan, I'm happy to share it.
Yeah, I'd love to see what they came up with. I'm just very curious. Any other questions on that? On the walking trails? No? Okay, well, thank you for the update. That's very interesting to hear. I didn't realize they were quite so extensive down the backside of there.
It sure is.
All right, so the South Knoll Road, we've talked about, I don't know where we're gonna go with this. Maybe we have to sit for a little bit on the maps, till maybe we have John here. I don't know, Matt, do you have any suggestions on how you assess parking needs?
Depends on the use, but just regarding South Hall Road use recommendation, the reason that I think we've been carrying this
Yeah,
over
so
on each
we-
agenda
yeah.
is because
Yeah.
selectmen put that as a chief task when they
Right.
restarted the committee, so.
But as far as the Pappas Recreation Site, one of John's things is parking, and I don't know, they say there's not enough parking there now, but I don't know how you quantify how much is needed.
I think it's something the building inspector evaluated at the time. I don't think there was a minimum qualification, I'd have to verify that, but even if we were to add parking in South Hall Road, it's just so far away from the next entrance, you'd be utilizing Curtis Street is the main thoroughfare.
And that would imply,
Nope.
No, the
the
neighborhood.
neighbors were promised that wouldn't happen.
That's correct. So I wouldn't consider South Hall as extra parking for that, by a long shot.
Now, if neighbors go, there's a little parking deck.
I would imagine that the soils in that area would not be conducive to that, but I'm not an engineer, I'm not sure.
They make it look like a building, but still.
But still, I can't even imagine what it would cost
That too.
to do a parking deck.
Infrastructure alone designing it. Yeah.
I don't know, it's certainly something I'm supposed to explore, but.
So just
At my house. At my house, put it back in.
There you go. You'd have to recuse yourself on that one.
just to reiterate, and obviously it's worth re-mentioning, South Hill property is on a non-taxable bond, can only be used for municipal purposes only without any profitable gain. So any use recommendation we're to make in the next, I think it's already 9 years, I think a year
Yeah, I
has
think so,
passed
yeah.
almost, or getting there anyways,
Amazing.
that should have to be a passive recreational use of some
Right.
sort.
And I think that that's basically what people are talking about anyway, it's not, see it developing in the fashion, and there's not gonna be any private involvement there for at least the remainder of the 10-year bonding.
Yes. No, not at all. unless we're changing the bond to taxable.
So I know, at some point we're gonna, have to drill down on what kind of recommendations we want to make. Southern Road, passive recreation uses. So we kind of we recommended passive recreation uses, but nothing specific.
The only one I've heard from multiple sources is that frisbee golf. I'm not an advocate of that, never played it before, but that is minimal impact. And you put up a couple of baskets, 9 of them, and draw a map and have them go. That's pretty much it. They don't even pay to play. They just play.
Oh.
So, DPW maintains it. If say we're able to get the open space plan approved and there's funding for baskets for frisbee golf through a grant that we're eligible for because we have our plan, that's an idea I would pursue.
You would pursue?
Yeah, only because, and it's just my opinion again, I'm only hearing this from multiple sources. I'm not an advocate of this game. I can't throw a frisbee 10 feet, but we're talking minimal impact. You set up the baskets, you run to police it.
You don't have to collect a fee for it?
Nope.
Seen that up at recreation area up by the Barry Falls Dam. Set up in places around.
Several dams in Ulster County. Buffalo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have it up there too.
At first I didn't know what it was. Somebody had just explained to me what that was for. So, okay, something new to me.
Well, that would be certainly a minimal use thing, When we had meetings and, they had the discussions with the selectmen about whether we were going to purchase it or not, there were a lot of ideas thrown out.
Tom Pool. A couple of them
yes,
came up.
yeah, that's one of my ideas.
A couple of them came up.
Yeah, dig a hole in the ground and there's your water.
On the same regard.
Spray park?
Mark Blazes and I, when we walked the walking trail,
Yeah.
he introduced, a lot of the 7th grade middle school students, including myself when I was in 7th grade, did field guides on certain species, plants, fish, animals, etc. over the
Yes,
years.
I've seen some of those birds, butterflies.
Yeah, and he did a lot of those studies, and especially, more specifically, the butterfly one, right there.
Really?
Yes. So that's your arboretum for local Auburn wildlife.
Interesting. I see the giant spray park, which they do a cement pad spray park.
Yeah, irrigation.
Yeah, it's true, yeah. No,
Yeah.
by the Baptist site, it's still in, yeah.
And then I've heard a lot of people talking about a dog park, but that's kind of,
Does Albert really need to work?
We can segue into that if you'd like.
okay. All I can think of is, I don't even know how to politely put it, but
Yeah, we know. Who's gonna,
May I segue into that?
you certainly may
Okay, so
save me from.
considering there's, everyone's hearing about it, a lot of folks are demanding it, whether it's on Facebook, the selecting meeting, etc., over the last handful of years. I think it was in the 2006 master plan. No, okay, good. So,
I don't think so, I don't recall it.
what we've been working with the animal control officer and what Amanda's been working on with us is to try to assess some town-owned open space as to whether or not it's feasible for such a park. And I'd like to introduce that assessment idea to the committee this evening, not necessarily as an agenda for a talking point tonight, but a future agenda item at our next meeting.
Okay.
So I'm not surprising anyone with this idea. We've received multiple calls from folks, including a collection of folks who are interested in starting their own committee or Kickstarter fundraiser program to seriously look into this. So in our own advanced professional interrogative, I guess we started putting together this, and Amanda and I was working on this today, thanks to your help with this, a feasibility assessment report, just to go over some of the key characteristics for what would be required on each property for a dog park. And these are based off, I can't think of the name of the grant, and we'll get into it hopefully next meeting if you're receptive to this idea. With the animal control officers, there's a grant that offers up to $250,000 for construction of these things, and 90% of it covered. And
It costs that much money
I
to
just
create a
think
dog
that-
park?
There's no fence?
there's a lot involved, so it's not just a fence. You have to have, if not an irrigation system, but water fountains for,
Yeah.
do you want to describe some of the criteria?
You need at least a 6-foot fence. You need water for the dogs and or for humans, and you need at least a double gate. So it's for safety purposes. So dogs don't just like run off when you're trying to get them back on the leash. And then
For 2 areas. Small and large.
Yeah.
Big dog line, yeah.
Can't be
Oh,
trees.
you're gonna have the little
Yeah.
lap dogs in one area and the giant dogs in the other.
So can't be trees, shade.
oh yeah, you need shading. You need like not obstacle course, but like things that dogs can like play on. You need like giant boulders or like
Yeah.
those tunnels that you can run through.
So it's like a playground for dogs.
Yes.
It's not just an open area where people walk their dogs.
It's like the Westminster Dog Show.
You just take your dog off the leash.
So you take the dogs off the leash and they run?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So the
I just thought it was a place where people walk their dogs. No, I'm not a dog owner.
They let them off the leash to go play.
What are the
Other dogs.
Up to, depending on the size of your park, and what was the average?
Average is around 30,000 square feet.
So about
Right.
3/4,
30,000 square feet?
2/3 of an acre or so.
I've seen them where brooks and rivers, you know, cross the run, so the dogs can play in the water.
Not so sure how our conservation commission would be thrilled about that, but there have been a couple sites we've started examining, and I think what we'd like to do prior to the next committee meeting is complete some of these assessment reports of particular properties and bring them to the committee for review. Possible. 3 of the ones that came to mind, I'll just introduce it, was Lansky Park, center of town for that matter. The other one being the opposite side of the golf course, behind it, behind the parking lot. There's
Oh, across the
about an
street.
acre and a half
Just
town-owned
cut down
land.
100 trees.
Really?
Why would you want to do that?
It's just ideas. So.
I like that one better than where you...
And then the other third one, which was kind of my bizarre idea, was the Boy Street Tot Lot.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know who uses that. I'm sure people do, but multi-purpose
Would
use.
that be bigger?
You could probably get a third of an acre park out of it. Who knows? But there's more than what's just developed there. The town owns more land, including the wooded area behind it. It's an acre and a half long. Right. Yeah, it would need all that. So
What about the dump? Landfill.
I don't think, you know what? That's a good segue, but I'm not going to get too far into it. I don't think we can do too much, or if not anything, on the landfill for a little while. And we were even exploring solar at one point, but I think we have to wait probably another 5 years, if not more, before we consider something. Depends on what DEP and Sanborn do their evaluation on our capital landfill. So I don't think we want to consider that yet. That too.
People didn't want to bring their children up there.
I know.
Playing field, playing
Some
field.
people, because their dogs are walking away.
Yes, exactly.
Probably not.
So since there is grant funding available, I think it's worth at least doing an assessment, finding out if we have anything that even remotely resembles their qualifications for the design review. And that's one of the goals that we've brought Amanda on board to help us accomplish, even if it's just finding out that we do or don't have parcels in town. Creating awareness of this, you might end up with someone on a future committee that wants to donate property. And an example like that is Millbury. Millbury has one of these things built, I think, through this grant. I think it's from the Butler Farm. Some private landowner donated their land for this, and it's now built, and we have a future.
They donated the land for that
Field trip.
specific purpose?
Yeah, when we have a nice little future field trip for that as well, to go look at how that was built. I mean, they have like town residents only, there's a little key tag where to go into the gate. However that works, you have to register your animal, it gets an extra item on its collar. You can charge fees for those things. And-
Oh, fees for their registration?
Yep. Yes.
It's in
And even though-
operation.
Yes.
So even though it was built with grant funds, you're able to limit it to town residents only?
So there's plenty of homework to do on it, and again, it's just introducing the idea to the committee today. If the committee would like to carry an agenda item for further discussion, possibly with the animal control officer, maybe some of the folks interested in serving on a future committee or even a subcommittee of this committee.
So how many, you said there are residents that want to form a committee? How many are we talking about?
I think Amy's received, if not a half dozen calls in the last 5 days or so.
Now, Amy's in.
Yes, Amy contacts.
No, she worked for the town, she worked for the town.
First of the town.
They didn't do a
I'm not sure about the town,
They
but
do a consortium, they did their father.
I don't believe so.
No, they
Okay.
didn't. They were gonna do that in October. Well, that's interesting.
And it's a grant without a deadline. I'm sorry, without an expiration for revolving. So apply for it sooner or else it's gone, kind of scenario, so. yeah, just
So do you know how
it's-
Millbury polices it for cleanliness and?
Well, and maybe that's, I know Amy Contois is going to a meeting with Town of Oxford who's exploring this. I think they have a meeting Thursday this week. It's one of their local committees. And she's probably gonna have a little more information on what some of the surrounding towns have done.
Maybe by the time we meet next, we can have, more information.
Yes.
I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there's plenty of questions to be asked.
Well, thank you for that insight. I had not heard about that. Does anybody have any other questions at this point? We're certainly going to talk about it some more in the meeting next week. But does anybody have any questions they want to ask them?
Living on Patrick Street, I think every second person that walks by my house has a dog on a leash. And sometimes our front lawn becomes too convenient to their dog.
That's when you go to a show and left something behind.
That's if you're watching in the window and you see it.
You're watching me.
Oh, I did that once.
I used to find those lovely little things when I had my house too. And I didn't even have a dog.
I had the plastic bag full of ammunition.
You put one of those grocery bag rollers in your front yard. Themselves.
And a little shovel.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're bad.
Enough of that, but it's not funny.
But
No,
it's
it
not.
isn't
Yeah,
funny.
People need to pick
Because
that
I
up.
have a granddaughter who goes out and plays on the lawn.
People need to pick it up. It's,
Right.
and to that comment,
Even just the water, even just the wet. I mean, it's, the granddaughter plays on the lawn.
I was happy to see someone in the back here with a dog there, pulled in right. Dogs go to the bathroom, and the guy cleaned it out. I was like, wow, I actually wasn't expecting that to happen,
That's,
but I was happy to see that.
yeah, me too. That's the thing that worries me the most. All right, so I think as relative to the maps and plans, we're gonna, I think, decide to talk about this more when John's here, about Packagug. Because I'm really not sure how the committee wants to approach this further. I don't know if we want to come up with a bunch of ideas. Well, now we're hearing more about the trail situation and the dog park, and, so maybe if you keep us informed on, those issues, then we can, I don't think we're talking about, because I know Southwell Road, they're talking about a dog park, yeah, I don't know.
It's a good place.
I like your ideas better,
Those are just 3 preliminary that we looked at together, so.
yeah.
I couldn't do that in Southwell Road, no, because of the grant, right? The bond.
Well, it's for municipal use, as a recreation
Is that
thing,
We'd be charging for the
You'd be- right.
resident only.
Yeah.
Okay.
you'd be charging, so you would not have to make any money off
So
of it,
that's
right?
my fault, we qualify as passive.
That's correct.
Right.
All right.
Unless we didn't charge.
Which would be a cost to do.
Right. But, the way time goes by, it'll be 9 years to be up to 21. And I think they were even talking about, like, looking at it at year 8 to see where things stood. And,
That's right.
by the time you develop plans and you go through the permitting process, a couple of years goes by, pretty good plans.
Seems to.
All right, so we'll leave that where it is for right now, and we'll add dog park for further discussion on the next agenda then. Okay, we don't have any public here, so it's any public comment. Then our next meeting, we're going to have one the first Tuesday in July. Is that good?
Fourth of July's on Monday. Fourth of July is on Monday.
All right, so do you want to meet the day after the 4th of July, or do you want to meet another, I mean, the following Monday would be a selectmen's meeting night, but I mean, we've been meeting at 6, so, you know, we've held these folks to 6.
Yeah.
What's your feeling on what do you want to do?
What do you want to do? Isn't, how about, what health, they meet? They meet in this room too?
They do, they usually meet like at 4:30 or 5:30 or something, 5:30. I don't know their meeting schedule though, do they
It
meet
used
on
to be a
Mondays?
second and fourth, I think they're back to that.
They meet on Mondays?
Mark's right.
On
Okay.
Tuesdays,
So that doesn't work. They meet on Tuesday or Monday?
Mondays, yeah.
So, Monday, so we'd be looking at July 11th anyways, because that's, what am I thinking of? I'm thinking they're meeting on Tuesdays, so we meet on Monday.
Yeah.
So we'd be meeting on July 11th, but that's the second
Right.
Monday of the month.
And our schedule is typically the first and third.
Right. So do you want to meet on the third month? We'll be meeting once a month, but I mean, do you want to skip July and not meet until August? What do you want?
The third in July is the 18th. Third week.
Well, the third of July, June?
Would be the 20th.
Right, but we've been going a month between
Month,
meetings.
yeah, okay, so that would work either.
I mean, we can meet on the 18th of July if you want.
Not into June,
Being the 20th in 2 weeks, it's,
not fair.
it would, and I don't want to inconvenience the committee at all, but I know Amanda's only here until about mid-August.
Okay.
So, as far as the dog park item goes, having further discussion on that sooner than July 18th. would
Do
be
you
more
want to meet
beneficial
in
for
a
us.
couple of weeks then on the dog park? We can have just a shorten that meeting just on the dog park issue? I'm just asking, you know, what do you want to do?
What day would that be? The
Yeah,
20th?
June 20th?
that'd be the third Wednesday, right?
Third Monday?
Monday.
Third Monday, I mean, yeah?
Mm.
Yeah, you got that stuff there.
Is it Friday?
No.
It's a long time till Friday.
Do you think you'd be all set in, it's not that short a time,
I think
the person's doing it?
Well, Amanda's doing it, so.
I think it at least allows us to go further in detail about it, since I was only introducing the subject this evening.
Right.
We can get further into it if it's an agenda,
Okay.
and provide information to the committee members in advance.
Okay.
And do you think that you'll do a site tour of the one in Millbury by then?
Probably should.
Would the 27th be better? Give you more time?
Conflict with the Board of Health and the Board of Selectmen.
Right.
Okay.
But if they're definitely meeting, that's the thing.
I don't know, so. They typically meet the second and fourth according to the planner, so.
Tell you what, how about we, or if the committee were to prefer the 27th, and if the Board of Health has a room, put it on the 20th.
Do we do that?
Goes with downstairs?
Do you want to do that, the 27th? And we can't go downstairs because cable.
Oh, okay, we can't. So how would you, we would go across the way? How would you do that then? How would,
We'll meet on the 27th.
Yep.
If the Board of Health is not meeting, we'll meet here at 6 o'clock on the 27th. If the room is booked, we'll meet on the 20th, at 6. Is that agreeable?
okay.
Alex?
Yes, fine.
Louise? All right, so we'll try for the 27th at 6. If not, it'll be the 20th at 6.
Did you say that there was a place in Oxford that had a dog park?
They're exploring the same group. They're just maybe a month ahead of us.
Where's the one in Millbury? Specifically,
I don't remember the exact
I'll look
address.
at it.
It was called Butler Farm.
Butler Farm?
Yes. Yeah. That's all I
How many
remember.
of the dog?
We saw that in some pictures, but that was it. So,
All right, so that's what we'll plan on for the next meeting, and you can let us know what's available. Okay, so the minutes of the May 11th. meeting. I mailed you out one set, and then I mailed you out a second set because I had typos. So, I don't know if you wanna,
I'm just gonna move her up to the camera, so I will move that we accept the meeting of minutes of the May 9th meeting as proposed.
Second?
discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
have any correspondence otherwise, correct?
One or two more updates of the committee.
Okay, sure, all right.
Eric, you want to talk about the bike racks?
The Central Mass Regional Planning Commission is providing a reimbursement opportunity for the town of Auburn. It's up to, I believe, $2,800 for bike racks. And the town, essentially, the match would be that our DPW would install the racks and we would pay for the shipping of the racks. So I thought it might be an appropriate conversation at our next meeting to discuss whether bike racks are something that Auburn needs or would want, and we could review some potential locations. If it does seem like there's a demand, we could make a recommendation to administration that we pursue this opportunity. But we didn't want to go about it until we, got a sense.
How about the schools?
Mhm.
The schools have, the new middle school, do they have bike rack yet?
Could check in with Joe Fahey.
Yeah,
He could quickly give us a review of what's available in terms of those types of facilities at the school.
Where would they be placed?
It has to be on town property. That's one of the criteria, on town-owned property and installed by the town. So I think that would be a great discussion
Yeah, that's right.
at the next meeting. If
This is when they ski right off the top of my head.
Particular areas of those sites
Right.
we discussed as well.
Yeah. All right, so you want to...
so, if the committee is open to it,
We'll have that agenda item for the next meeting as well?
cool.
Okay.
Thanks.
Does that cover air pump?
Is it-
Air pump,
Air
no.
pumps? Because I was just wondering.
Yeah, that would be pretty nifty though.
I don't think
Sure,
people steal
what?
it. I don't think people steal that stuff, so
Absolutely.
they try at the hub at those streets of transitory, it work.
I bet.
No,
Did you have another update too, Aaron? All right.
So June 30th is Thursday, and at 6 p.m. at Auburn High School, tentative, awaiting superintendent's approval, would be a meeting with our Massachusetts Downtown Initiative grant consultants, the Cecil Group, or the MDI grant, sorry. And this is to discuss with community workshops the Drury Square Village overlay district proposal,
Okay.
with open to residents as well as stakeholders, property owners of Drury Square, and to get their feedback on potential overlay district or bylaws to govern that area and shape it into Auburn's community center.
Where was that now?
And that is that we're proposing it, awaiting the superintendent's approval, would be June 30th, 6 o'clock at Auburn High School in the presentation room.
Okay.
Where would the community center be?
It's not a community center, it's just, not a rec center,
Okay.
but it's just, we don't have a town center that we would call our,
A gathering place.
right, the center of Auburn.
Right.
Yeah, like a downtown.
Yeah, a downtown area that has maybe the right light fixtures and banners and...
Yes. Something looks like a more
Like country.
quintessential New England community.
Exactly.
well, like Templeton, Mass, that's really country.
It's a good example.
There's what he calls gazebos.
Even Grafton has a little
Right.
on the top of their hill, that they use for community events and such. But obviously, our geography is a little different. We have our
Right.
effects of urban sprawl over the last 60 years to deal with. So it's working with the consultant, CMRPC, and stakeholders to come up with a bylaw that would help govern future uses for the site. So we don't get big box Walmart going in or anything like
Right.
that. So
Right. I think that's great. Those of us that were involved with the Old Village District are very interested.
absolutely. Hope that those involved would like to attend.
So you can bring that up when we meet next and...
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that room big enough? It seems like a small room.
Holds 60 people.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
Actually,
It's a decent size.
If we're expecting a larger turnout, we can move it to the cafeteria. But it won't be as air conditioned as the presentation.
why couldn't you just grab the auditorium? It's too big.
It's not gonna be air conditioned, unfortunately.
That's right,
I mean, it would be, it's just not gonna be as cool. Plus the auditorium, the workshop, you're gonna have stations,
Oh,
there are
yeah.
different things, and those chairs are fixed to the ground, so,
Can't move.
yeah,
It's not
exactly.
exactly conducive to that kind of a meeting.
Exactly.
It's like trying to have a conservation commission public hearing across the hall. It's not
Stupid.
Well, that's great. Excellent. Good to hear. Do you guys have any other news for us? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone on the committee have anything else that you'd like to bring up?
How did you make out with the, land, trying to sell land, town land and stuff? They want to
Well,
bid
the
something?
auctioneer, I think, is still gathering information
Okay.
for the sale of
That's what I meant.
land.
Yep.
I don't think that's finished yet.
Right, and Ian and I are putting a letter together, recommendation to the town accountant, based on the committee's vote at the last meeting, so to make sure the wording is proper.
And I think at the same night that we met the last time, the selectmen met and they had already voted to, Meadow Street property to sell it to an abutting property owner.
The little strip in the back.
So that one's not anyway, so. But, all right, so that's still a work in progress. So, anybody else, anything? All right, then,
Make a motion to adjourn?
second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.